Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are Bestari group for 3A class English department, State Polytechnic of Padang. Today we are going to present about production phase in simultaneous interpreting. So before we start discussion today, let me introduce our member of group today. The first one is Angel Stella Yolanda Halawa. The next one is Rena Yulia Fitri, and I am Putri Maiyazri Asmir as the moderator. So, all right, let's start. The next one is the first session from Angel Stella Yolanda will explain about the production in general and listening actively. So, for Angel, time is yours.
Thank you to my moderator. Hello, I'm Angel, and as the first speaker, I would like to tell you about production in simultaneous interpreting and active listening. Production in simultaneous interpreting extends beyond the mere delivery of the target text, as it also includes the formation of a mental representation of the message and speech planning operations. Under normal circumstances, when the source message is relative and is easy to understand, and target equivalents are quickly and automatically retrieved from long-term memory, the interpreter maintains a comfortable shift, accurately rendering the source message with almost no omissions. But when confronted with a long-winded, dense, or obscure passage, the interpreter may be forced out of the comfort zone and temporarily increase the lag to accommodate the need for more time to process it. The next slide, please. In production, there are things that we need to know. That is memory effort. So the definition of memory effort is as a distinct component, is less evidence is both sensory memory and working memory in production. Thus, it could be argued that the two-element model composed of a comprehension phase and a production phase will be sufficient and more representative of actual cognitive architecture. The simultaneity of comprehension and production is perhaps the most silent characteristic of simultaneous interpreting. And it is likely to be one of the main reasons why this is such a cognitively demanding task. Next, please. Actually, there are some training methods that we need to improve in our memory method skills. The shadowing exercise. Here, the learners repeat what they have heard, such as speech, news, at the same test. The purpose of training is to cultivate learners' speed of attention and the skill of speaking while listening. It is better to do this training in mother tongue at first and the other language second. And then outlining exercise. It is continuous stakes, the second stakes of shadowing exercise. Reading a paragraph after a speaker or someone else learner should post the outline its main idea. Firstly in their mother tongue and then in foreign languages. And then simulation training. If possible, learners can carry out simulation training, which will create a real situation and atmosphere. They set the times, prepare speeches, deliver the speeches in turn, and interpret simultaneously in turn with the related necessary types of equipment. Next, please. Basically, there are three phases in production in simultaneous interpreting. They are listening actively, analysis, and reproduction. Let me tell you about listening actively. Next, please. Here are some basic elements in active listening. There are set the stage for active listening. You can remove the distractions and interruptions during mentoring meetings. For instance, don't answer calls, don't check your email or do other tasks while you are engaged in conversation with your mentee. Multitasking in another direction or a sign that your mentoring partner is not as important as your agenda or your activity. And then pay attention. You can give your mentoring partners for your full attention rather than thinking about what you want to say while he is still talking. You can show your listening by giving non-verbal cues such as nod your head and as agreement and smile and make a good eye contact. And then clarify. Clarify is just like you researching what you heard from for clarification. For example, so you are saying that blah blah blah, or probing for more open-ended questions as reveal what made you feel that way, just like that. Also demonstrate that you are listening. And last is acknowledge feelings. Don't be afraid to acknowledge strong feelings when you heard them. It sounds like you were frustrated. This is another way to show that you are listening, and it helps you to be better understand what's going on. Pay attention to hesitancy or pausing clues that something is not being said, and proud pleasure if appropriate. After your mentoring conversation, take a moment to think about how well you listen and what you can do better. Practice your listening skills in a variety of settings. That's all from me. Thank you. Back to moderator.
All right, thank you very much for Angel Stella. We have explained about the production in general and listening actively. Next one is about analysis. So after the listening actively phase, we move to second phase, that is analysis. And we have the question, what we need to analyze is in simultaneous interpreting. So in analysis, we discuss about the structure of a message, the suitable word or diction for each sentences while in interpreting. So in Bahasa, or to English interpretation case, we have I have 3 points to how to analyze this. The first one is based on the context. Maybe the context in the formal or in the informal or in the semi-formal maybe. And the next one is based on the background. Maybe the background is from the politic from the mechanical or education or economic or etc. And the next one is based on situation or condition. The situation and condition is likely same with two of I said before, but the in situation or condition is more specific in context. So next. We know that in Bahasa in English have the difference of structure. In Bahasa Indonesia, often use the passive voice, and the English often use the active voice. So the interpreter need to consider which word they want to use and suitable for the interpreting. The differences in Bahasa and English structure is like difference in grammatical structure, such as the pronoun, syntax, plural form, verb, adverb, and etc. But in this question, uh, I don't want to explain about this grammatical structure about pronoun, syntax, and etc. in deep, but I want to give you the example. So this is the example I choose to imagine how the analysis works. I have the source tag. Perusahaan akan membayar biaya penyelesaian hubungan kerja. So the translating of biaya, we have the word cost, charge, fee, and price. The four word is same meaning that is biaya, but we have to choose what the suitable or and appropriate in the sentence. So I have to target language in sentence. The first one is the company shall pay the cost for the employment settlement. In this first example, I choose the cost. It is like a literal translation, but it is not wrong interpretation. But I have more suitable Example sentence in the number one, that is, the company shall pay the severance pay for the employment settlement. And for your information, the severance pay meaning in bahasa is the pesangon. So I hope you can understand how the analyze is works in simultaneous interpreting. So next, we have reproduction. This reproduction will explained by Rena. Rena, Yulia, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, moderator. So let's discuss about reproduction. After each process of listening activity and analysis, it is followed by the reproduction of a sentence based on our listening and analysis. In reproduction, you can following this. One, delivering the right words. Deliver the exact interpretation of the words or sentence that the speaker has said to the audience without including any unnecessary words or sentence. Two, delivering while listening. While you are delivering to the audience the interpretation of what the speaker has said, you have to keep listening the speaker as well to continue simultaneous interpreting. Three, you should be stay very alert and attentive to do this job in a better and most appreciated manner, as you cannot afford to misinterpret anything. And then control your voice. Make sure you are very confident in delivering your sentences, and you should have a firm control over the pitch of your sound. And next, use decent and engaging language, for which you have to be master of both language, including uh, the search language and the target language. And the last is good knowledge. You should also have a sound knowledge about the subject of the speech or conversation, which will help you in doing simultaneous interpretation in a confident and comfortable manner. And the next slides, please. Okay, now I will give you tips for making reproduction in simultaneous interpreting. For the first tip, that is anticipate. Interpreters are essentially doing two things at once, listening and interpreting. That is why the ability to anticipate what's coming next can be useful. For example, whenever you are listening to someone speak, pay close attention and see if you can predict what they are going to say next. That is easier if you are familiar with the speaker, which may or may not be the case while at an interpreting assignment. However, if you can learn to anticipate what's coming next, your interpretation at conferences and at others events will become much smoother. And then keep your brain sharp. Interpreting is a difficult activity, so challenge yourself with an even more difficult task to prepare yourself. For instance, listen to a speech while focusing on another task. This can be something as simple as writing down a grocery list or making a list of all your friends' birthday. Afterwards, try to see how much of the speech you can remember. It may not be much at first, but if you keep doing a brain exercise like this, your skill of interpretation at the same time will start to improve. And the next tips is understand culture. Knowing a language is a given when doing simultaneous interpreting, but culture is another matter. Every culture has words and phrases that only make sense to people in that culture. Being unprepared for one of these colloquial phrases can trip you up. That's why it's important to understand each language, like along with its cultural background. And next, control your voice. When interpreting, it is important to keep your voice at a reasonable volume. If it's too loud, people won't be able to hear you. However, you may overshadow the speaker if your voice gets too loud. And the last tip is stay calm. Make sure you don't react to anything the speaker is saying or doing. That's not your job. No matter what happens, stay focused on providing the best interpretation at the same time. Okay, I think that's all. Back to moderator.
All right, thank you very much for Rena, Yulia, Fitri. And we have done our presentation today. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.